Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Monday, November 3rd. Celtics 7 games now into the season. We've got plenty to talk about. How you doing, Sam?
Doing good. Excited to go to the game tonight, Celtics-Jazz. So we will be
8
talking
games
about
now,
that.
yeah. I just thought about my statement. I'm like, wait a second, it's 8 games by the time.
It's all right.
This is coming out.
We don't know. What if the game gets canceled? We have to protect 7 or 8 games into the season, depending on what happens. If they lose, we don't have to count it. But yeah, should be a fun show. Always fun to recap games and full pod today. So we're going to go through your emails. We'll go around the NBA, look around the standings, look around interesting situation going on in Memphis, and then we'll do the rat list and get out of here. Should be a really fun time. Stick around through all of it. We're here every day. Full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps the morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. But yes, Celtics versus Jazz. Here we go.
All right, we're here after the Celtics loss to the Utah Jazz on Monday night. 105-103, the final score. Ugly game. This was an ugly one. The Celtics offense could get nothing going for most of the night. The end of the game was fun, flurry, and then it was less fun, and there was a no call, and there was a disaster, lack of rebounding, and it got messy. This was an ugly game. It was similar to the ugly game in the sense of the Philly game, except the Celtics came out on the opposite end of it.
Yeah, this was a really... So even when the Celtics were winning this game, it was fucking boring. Like, neither team could put the ball in the basket. It was 46-36 at halftime. Like, what was that, 82 combined points from both teams? Like, there are teams that will score that much alone. I mean, literally over the last 2 years, there were probably times where the Celtics scored 82 and a half alone. Never mind, like, 2 teams splitting that total. This was just... This whole season has been this. They have created open looks. Like, I really don't think there's much disputing that. Like, if you watch back all these three-pointers like we've done in the past when things don't go well, they're fine looks. A lot of them are fine. Guys who have shot 40% or plus or more over the last 2 seasons are getting clean looks, and they're not making them. And, you weren't in the room for it, but Derrick White had his post-game presser, which went 2 minutes, and it's clearly getting to him. Like, he's pissed, and he probably feels bad. Like, he's been really poor this season, hasn't made threes at all, especially compared to the last 2 seasons. I don't know what to make of this. This is just so strange because everything we've learned about the Celtics for the last 2 years probably needs to be thrown out because this is a different team. Like, anybody could probably tell me that, but it doesn't make sense because there are still a lot of the same pieces around here. Yes, they brought in some new talent over the summer. Yes, they lost guys. But the guys who are underperforming are guys that were here performing at the same level for years. And this isn't just like meant to be. I know like I've joked about Derrick White over the last week or so because it's just been unbelievable that he's shot like this. But like Peyton Pritchard's in the same boat. Sam Hauser wasn't very good today. These guys are reliable three-point shooters, and it's not happening for them, and it's costing them games. I don't really want to go through and be like they should be this record because like they haven't made threes. But this game alone, they shot 11 of 51 from 3. You can't tell me like 4 more of those could have been makes. Like they shot about 20%. Like if you're just not the worst team, you win this game. It's that simple. And it's so frustrating to watch. And there's so much to get into with this game. I'm like too excited to talk about it. Clearly, I can't get my thoughts together. I can't speak in a straight line right now. But it was just unbelievable to see it happen this way.
Yeah, this was the first game where I felt really like, ironically, like the whole story after this game is we missed open shots. This was the first game where I felt like the offense is just really bad. Like I thought the offense was like
there were times
really,
where it
really
was bad too.
In this game, like it just felt like the whole process of things was a mess, and a lot of it stems from the bigs. Like I understand fundamentally what you're saying with like, oh, a lot of the same pieces, they should perform better. They don't have the same pieces around them. Like Derrick White is a great player. Peyton Pritchard's a great player. Jaylen Brown's a great player. When the pieces around them are so different to the point where there's less floor spacing, there's less gravity, there is far worse screening. Oh my fucking God, what a disaster this game was screening. I mean, Joe Mazzulla was subbing a big out every 3 minutes because they sucked. Like the center rotation in this game was detrimental to the team's success. Nemish Queta couldn't get a rebound. Luka Garza couldn't defend. Chris Boucher couldn't stop fouling. And Xavier Tillman couldn't defend at the rim either. Like, it was a mess. And then none of them could create separation on a screen. Like, the offense, most of this game, they eventually like managed to get some decent threes, but a lot of it was just, I have to make something happen and draw two and kick it out. They couldn't get any separation into pick and roll. Like, it was a complete mess on the offensive side of the ball. And a lot of it stemmed from the bigs being useless. Like, they couldn't play in this game. They were a mess on both ends of the court. Like, Nemish Queta was okay in the first quarter, and after that it was awful. And they didn't get the same offensive rebounding support that they've had in past games. And they had 10, yes, but when your offense is as cold as this is and as incapable of creating space as it is, you're going to need 15 offensive rebounds to make up for it, which is what they've had in a lot of their wins. And they didn't have that tonight, right? And the 0 of 9 from 3 for Jaylen was whatever. The Pritchard 4 of 11, Derrick White 3 of 8, Sam Hauser 1 of 8. You watch back those Sam Hauser threes, 6 of the 8 attempts were butt naked wide open. He makes it every other, second of the day, right? Derrick White took a lot of open ones. Peyton Pritchard took a lot of open ones. Jaylen Brown took open ones. Like, they're getting open threes, but it's the process of which they're getting them. It's got to be exhausting because it is so much harder for them to get the open looks that, probably by the time they do get them, they're just tired because last year, it was Jason Tatum's going to run a pick and roll with Cornette or However, get an easy 2-on-1 kick to the corner. Derrick White's there, fresh legs, fresh arms, going to shoot an open three. Now it's Derrick White has to fight through 3 bodies because Nemi missed his screen location. He's fighting someone downhill and either flops, turns it over, and kicks it out. And then by the time it gets back to him for an open three, he's probably dead. Like, the offensive process just looks completely out of whack. And this was the first game where I was like, yes, they're getting open threes, but the way they got them is just completely different. And it's because of, primarily, in my opinion, I need to rewatch this game. I think that's the biggest thing for me, especially that third quarter where they just couldn't make anything. The big rotation was dreadful in this game.
Yeah, I don't want to discount the points you've made because they are, like, very true. And, your jump shot feels a lot different after you had to sprint around a bunch of guys and weave in and out of traffic and, do like the AI generated or like automated Steph Curry getting chased by Matthew Dellavedova meme where he's just going through every possible loophole to get away from his defender to get open. But the fact still remains, like, if you can't isolate the shots completely to talk about this, but if you did look at them and if you literally just went through NBA.com, you said it, there were so many looks that you're just like, these are going in every other game. And like, in a game where you lose by 2 points, it is just like that bare minimum.
No,
that can be the difference between a win and a loss, and it doesn't fix everything because there's still all of the things you said are still wrong.
I understand, and they're getting open shots and missing open shots, but the conversation can't just be they need to make shots. Like, the offense was a disaster today, even past the missed open shots. Like it can't start and end with they generated the open shots, they have to hit the open shots. That is true, but there has to be more to it because the reason that it is so difficult to get to a lot of these shots is because the whole offense is terrible. They have 3 guys who can do anything on the offensive end consistently, and one of them's in a slump. Like, it's a mess. It's they need to hit the open ones, and that could very well be the solution in this one. But this was the first game that I watched and was like, wow, this is a really ugly, painful offense to watch sludge their way through the game. And it was brutal to watch.
I think that was especially true in the third quarter. Like, when things went wrong, there were so many possessions where the Celtics would come up the court, they wouldn't really get within the 3-point line. Like, they might swing the ball once or twice and put up a shot. Like, there were times in this game where the process was there, and that's when, like, the things I'm talking about happened. But your point is so true. Like, I can't tell you how many stretches in this game I'm just like, what is happening? Like, I said it in the open. This game was a rock fight. They couldn't score the ball in either half. They held Utah to just 36 points in the first half, and Utah was awful in this first half too. Like, they couldn't get anything going. Celtics did a really good
defense
job
looked
of
good.
making them uncomfortable. Turned them over 10 times. The defense woke up again at the end of the game. But they didn't do anything with it. They didn't capitalize on it. And then you look up halfway through the third quarter, and Utah scored 30 points. They end up with almost 40 in the quarter. And meanwhile, a great defensive half is completely up in smoke because you didn't carry it over. The effort wasn't there, or whatever wasn't there. I don't want to completely blame it on effort because sometimes things just don't go your way and whatever. I don't solidify that they dropped their effort in the third quarter, right? As this big giant metal thing gets wheeled in here and makes all the noise in the world. They had a lot go wrong in this game. They didn't. I mean, bottom line, we're 10 minutes in now. This is a game that you should have won. And throughout the first half, even when the shots weren't going in, the way that they played defense, control of this game, and it was reminiscent of years past. It was like, okay, they're going to be able to still take care of the bad teams. Like, bad teams are going to come play them. They are going to exploit the bad teams, and they are going to end up winning these games and take care of business. Because there was a lot of I can't really like explain it well. There were a lot of things that were happening that were like Leo meme pointing at the TV. That is good team basketball. Like, you are doing the right thing. And then that just went away. The third quarter was a huge turning point. It was a big topic of discussion in the press conferences. I know you're looking to talk about it, and Bobby's looking to write about it too. They just were not good enough, and they seemed kind of lost. Like, Derrick's discouragement, I think, speaks a lot of volumes to that.
I mean, they shot 1 of 11 from 3 and 9 of 23 from the field, and the offense looked like it was. I can't even think of the right words to describe what the offense looks like. You know, when have you seen the World's Strongest Man competition where they have you seen the World's Strongest Man competition where they have to pull the plane? Like, they put ropes on their shoulders and try to fucking pull an airplane.
That is the process.
That was how
hard it was.
That is how much effort it took for them to get an open shot in the third quarter. And sometimes they got there, but Jesus Christ, it was ugly to watch. It was they were like incapable of getting open shots. And then as a result, the Jazz shot 13 of 18 and 3-7 because the Celtics were just completely fumbling all over. Like, even when it wasn't quote unquote fast break points, I remember a bunch of possessions where they got out, they were mismatched because the Celtics were just reeling from a miss. And then the Jazz got whatever they wanted because there was no rotations, nothing good. There was one point where they gave up an offensive rebound and Joe Mazzulla subbed out for the guys who were in the game. Like, it was just everything that could go wrong will go wrong. And it all stemmed from the fact that the offense was molasses.
When Jaylen is not on the floor, it's so much worse. That was part of it. There were parts of this game. I think okay. Here's an anecdote that will prove this point or play to this point. The third quarter, Jaylen's out of the game. They look awful. Jaylen comes in at the end of the quarter. He scores 7 of their last 10 points. All of a sudden, they're in the game again. They have recovered from whatever stumble they had for the first 9 minutes of it, and they look like they're back. He reinvigorates them when he comes back in the game in the fourth quarter after it kind of looks like they're dead. Like, they go down 11 points in the fourth quarter, and I'm like, holy shit, like, they're really going to lose to the Jazz in, like, a just deflating fashion. Like, a loss is a loss. The Jazz are still the Jazz. I don't want this to seem like we got to give them credit because they fought back, because that's not really the point. But this game ended up being an exciting game because Jaylen reinvigorated this team. And when he's not out there, they don't have anybody that's able to do that for a sustained period. We see times where Peyton Pritchard can do it, and I think Peyton Pritchard deserves a lot of credit for being able to be an initiator on this team, and he's done so throughout these first 8 games. But Derrick White can't do it. It almost feels like Peyton Pritchard's legs are tired, like kind of like you're saying, like you didn't see it in the second half from him today. You tweeted in the first half about how well he was able to get to that little mid-range shot that he's been so money on for the past 2 seasons. He didn't really do it in the second half. He just took a lot of threes, didn't make them. It was very tired legs type play. Besides those 2 guys, Anthony Simons has not been able to create anything. You give him the ball, he doesn't look for anybody else. It's crazy. I don't know how the guy that has been the first option on a team for years, good team or bad team, like, doesn't matter, looks so lost anytime he's asked to create on offense. Is he out of his rhythm? Is this just something he doesn't really feel comfortable doing because he's not doing it all the time? Does he need to have the ball comfortable? Like, it almost doesn't make sense how poorly he's fit into this team.
I mean, listen, I've been saying it about Simons for the whole season. Like, it just, every time he touches the ball, this is an Anthony Simons possession, get out of the way. And he's hustling on defense. Like, it's the Anthony Simons experience, man. There was like a 5-minute stretch in this game where I was like, oh my God, like, great effort. He's actually giving them some buckets. They need this boost. And then the rest of the game, it's just, what the fuck is happening right now? because it is just like he just doesn't fit. It's, you know who said it? I think Bobby Manning I was talking to said it. This is like, remember when Dennis Schroeder was on the Celtics and you could very clearly see he was a talented player. It just doesn't work.
Yes.
It just doesn't work with the Celtics team. I feel like that's sort of what Anthony Simons is. Jaylen, great stretches. I mean, if they had won this game, I was going to make a Jaylen video tomorrow because he fucking piggybacked them in the last X amount of minutes of the game. What a Herculean effort to try to get them back into this in the fourth quarter. Every single hustle play, every single rebound, every single loose ball, he was there. Then got completely screwed on a no tripping call at the end of the game, which obscene no call. I'm going to continue, but before I do, I need to tell you guys about PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the best place to get real money, sports action. This basketball season, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this basketball season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks offers stacks, so if you are in on the Jaylen Brown experience or the Derrick White comeback tour, which could eventually come for the Celtics, you can pick one of them, or you pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup, only on PrizePicks. If you want the more on, Jaylen dunks, Jaylen threes, Jaylen points, Jaylen rebounds, Jaylen assists, any 3 stats, you can pick all of them in the same lineup, only on PrizePicks. Same for any player, any pick that you see available for your lineup. Follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app as well. You can copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or someone whose picks you like. You can hit the follow button and check out every lineup in the new feed tab, so you can see people whose picks you like. Football season is also here and ready to go. Drake May and Will Campbell were at the game, so if you're looking for some Drake May lineups, you can check those out as well. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's going to be right. But back to the game. Like it just felt like the foul call. Yes, the foul call was a disaster. Like it was a ridiculous no call. I'm sorry, I have to go back to what I was talking about at the beginning. This was the worst game for the Centers the entire season by a long shot. Like like they were completely useless. Like Joe Mazzulla was subbing them in and out every 2 seconds of the game. They all 4 of them looked like Joe couldn't decide which one of them to have on the court in certain moments because every one of them was just not making a positive impact. And I know there's going to be a lot of people like, oh, Nemish Queta plus 15 in the box score. Look at this. I have one play. I'm just going to show you one play to explain Nemish Queta in this game. And I don't want this to turn into me dumping on any individual human or any individual player, but like, this is it. Guarding, transition, eventually Jazz goes downhill, and Nemish Queta is just completely lost. And just like can't catch his legs. Like he was just constantly out of position. He gave up the worst offensive rebounding miss I may have ever seen with my own 2 eyes to lose them the basketball game. I'm gonna pull that up too because it genuinely, like, this lost in the game. There's the tripping call. There was whatever call you want to see. I don't know how you don't get this rebound as a 7-foot center in the NBA. Like it's truly like baffling to me how Nemish Queta didn't get this rebound. The rebounding's been a problem all season for the Celtics. I've said it multiple times throughout the season. Like, Nemish Queta just boxes out too low into the paint, and this is the perfect example. He's got Jusuf Nurkic. Nemish Queta's only job on this play is get the rebound. That is it. Get the rebound. Get the rebound. That is your only job. You are out of the defensive play now. Get the rebound. And he doesn't even get it. He doesn't even jump. He can't even jump. And then Luka Garza couldn't play defense. He was getting bullied down low, couldn't hit his shots either. Xavier Tillman wasn't big enough to get rebounds or defend in the paint. And Chris Boucher fouled like 3 times in 2 minutes. Every big they had tonight was just a completely negative impact when they were on the floor. And it was cataclysmic. Like they couldn't figure it out. And it lost them the basketball game. I know the shots. Everyone's going to look at the shots. Everyone's going to look at threes. The bigs couldn't play basketball tonight. They just couldn't.
Games like this leave me just so uncertain of how I should feel about this team. Because on one hand, we have to remember, like, they played against the Jazz. Because I don't want to give them too much credit. This is not a good team that they lost to. But you look up and they lose by 2 points, and yet we've done 17, 18 minutes on everything that fucking went wrong. And it's like literally, Jack said it, like the worst imaginable game from the big men. And they've shot literally 31% from 3 on the season, 20% in this game. Like, hardly could imagine it being worse. And yet there they are right at the end with a literal play to send it to overtime on the line. And honestly probably got fucked by the Jaylen no call on the trip, which, by the way, I watched the replay. It looks like Jaylen slips a little bit before he ends up hitting George, who has hit the ground. But
Well,
in the NBA, tripping is an automatic whistle every time. And for
I also
that
feel
not
like
to get called in the final 2 minutes is crazy. Go ahead. Sorry.
I also feel like, no, you're good. I also feel like he slipped because he didn't have anywhere else to put his feet. Like, he had to, like, move where he was going to
That's a fair point.
Because, like, where the fuck was he supposed to go? That was a mess. I'm trying to find an example of some of this, like, I need to find the plays. Some of the worst screening I've ever seen in my life in this game. Like, I don't think people understand how truly spoiled the Celtics have been with Luke Cornett and Al Horford on the team for the past 2 seasons. I mean, Jaylen Brown, Derrick White, and Peyton Pritchard had no space to work with the screens they were getting from these centers. It was baffling how poor they did trying to create space for the ball.
I mean, I can't really speak to the screening that much. I'll take your word for it. It wasn't something I noticed. And listen, I'm not saying that they should get a pass because I'm certain that it was an issue. I just can't believe how many things went wrong and they still had a chance to win this game, and they really just couldn't get over the hump against the Jazz. And now I'm just kind of sitting here. I'm like, is this just who this team is at this point? Because we're 8 games into the season. We've had a decent sample size. It hasn't been the 10-game mark yet, which is something you were looking forward before you could really make a real decision on these guys. But, like, they can't shoot threes. Maybe it is a lot to do with how hard it is to create them compared to the last couple seasons. Maybe that's a real trend, a real issue that is going to plague them the entire season. The bigs were always going to be a problem. Anytime that they've found anything in the front court, it's been found money. It's like hitting like a blackjack hand, it feels like. Is this just like, is losing to the Utah Jazz at home just what you should expect? Like, are they going to lose to the Wizards on Wednesday? By the way, this is the first Jazz road win of the season. Like, this is just inexplicable stuff. It's very different than what we're used to. I don't think I'm speechless, but I don't have anything smart to say. Like, I'm literally dumbfounded.
Yeah, I want to go back and I need to go back and rewatch this game because I do think multiple things can be true. Like, I think they should be making a lot more of these threes, and I think once that comes together, it's going to fix a lot of problems. But I don't know what the solution is at the center position. Like, I don't know. There isn't one. You just need to hope one of them gives you okay minutes.
You can't do that.
And I don't know. You just need the threes to go in. Listen, man, the defense has been good objectively. 105, like, you should win that game 10 times out of 10. Like, you have to win that basketball game. They've given up 110 points, 2 times this year? Like, the defense has been great. It's just the offense is putrid. If Jaylen Brown is having an off night, it goes into chaos. Peyton Pritchard gets shut down for a quarter. They can't do anything. Peyton Pritchard, who played pretty well tonight for what it's worth. And at least, like, Derrick White knew what was happening. Like, he only took 9 shots. It was 3 of 8 from 3. Like, it's not like he was forcing it and playing gross basketball. It's just been a rough season for him. It's just Sam Hauser missed his threes. Jaylen Brown missed his threes. And the Jazz scored 30 points twice in the last 2 quarters. Like, it was just brutal, man. And I don't know, like, what I think this team, if it's affected my win total expectations, et cetera, because I do think that this team is more talented than the record they have. I do think they are capable of winning, especially with how good the defense has looked, in my opinion. But, like, I think the first 7 games of the season, the bigs were really good, like, compared to what they should be. And I worry that this is more of a realistic game we could get from the bigs more often. And if that is the case, that's where I'm going to start to get really worried. And I don't want this to turn into like everybody else was perfect. Derrick White had some bad turnovers. Jaylen Brown had a couple moments in the first half. Peyton Pritchard wasn't perfect. Sam Hauser couldn't hit a shot in this game. And for what it's worth, Josh Minot, Hugo Gonzalez didn't really give him much either. Tillman, Keita, Garza, Boucher were, I mean, unequivocally the worst part of this game, in my opinion.
My eyes do not match the results. I agree with you. Like, the defense has been good. There have been a lot of positive things. The results win total, shot making wise, just have not been there. And it's just I'm left dumbfounded. Like I'm like, I cannot decide. Like even what you just said about the bigs. Should we believe the first 7 games or should we believe this? Is this actually like starting to see the cracks happen on this team? We're like, oh, this is what it looks like without makeup. This is what it looks like when things don't go well. Like maybe. I guess
and it was
like
still
this
a one
is just
possession
simply
game.
But stop! Like you're gonna rope me back in.
Listen, I don't think
it was a one possession game. Like that's the thing. Like so many things went wrong and they still barely lost.
Yep. Listen, like I think the unfortunate reality that you and me and everybody else have to accept is they're like we've been so spoiled for the last 2 years of knowing exactly what the team is and exactly what to expect. That's not the normal in the NBA. Like that is just not how normal teams and normal fan bases get to be and normal media, beats. And that's not how NBA teams usually are. It is usually, what is this team going to be? Even with good teams, right? Like look at the Magic this year. New piece, Desmond Bane. Can this team do this new? Can this be this? Can this be this? Like the Nuggets getting Cam Johnson. What does this team look like with the new pieces fitting in? Al Horford on the Warriors, a full year of Jimmy Butler. Like there is almost always, what is this team going to be like? We've just been really spoiled for the past 2 years because we knew pretty much exactly what the team was going to be like. And there's unfortunately just no way to really know from here on out what the team is going to do on a night-to-night basis because I don't think they know because they've never played with this group. They've never been a part of this team. They have an 8-game sample size to go off, and they just kind of have to figure it out on the fly. And certainly shooting better than 11 of 50 from 3 will help, definitely, but I don't know, man.
I want to apologize to any listener that just doesn't feel like they've gotten their time's worth today. Like, I just feel like I'm talking myself in a circle. Like, I am just in a pretzel with this. Because the first half of this game, I was, like, nodding my head. I was like, all right, like, this is impressive stuff. Like, the winning DNA is still in this team. And that just went all away. Like, this game was literally a tale of two halves. You had a good team in one half. And you had the absolute worst team in the second half, and it was enough to lose you the game. That being said, like there's still a lot of season left. Like if you want to be on the optimistic train and you want to see the team improve and you want to see all these things come together, like there are going to be growing pains with that when you have that many pieces come in. Jack's right. Like it's a really good point. And learning how all that stuff works together, somebody like Anthony Simons, who hasn't been very good lately, could end up being okay. Maybe he's not a fit at all, but we don't really know yet. And there have been flashes of them fitting well, flashes of them not fitting well. Same can be said for the big men. Same can be said for how connected they look on defense or offense. Like there's a lot of chemistry to be built where there hasn't needed to be over the last couple of seasons so they can just hit the ground running. But then again, like the wheels can come off. Like think about how poorly the Celtics played today with Jaylen Brown like not playing really well for stretches of the game or being on the bench for stretches of the game, right? What if his hamstring like was worse enough where he had to sit games? Like that's like an automatic loss. If Jaylen Brown doesn't play in a game, I don't even know if I would even want to stomach it. That's how bad this will
be. And for what it's worth, I said 45 wins at the start of the season. I'm going to stick with it, and I need to give you the context of this for people listening. If they win 45 games this year, that means they're going to lose 38 games. That is 17 more losses than they had last season. Like 45, everyone's like, oh my God, that's crazy. There are 17 games worse than they were last season. That is why I'm sticking with that. 3-5 start, yes. Think about how many of these games are close. Think about how much better they're going to get in these types of games as they grow as a team. You don't think they can win 4 more games than a 500 record? That's where I'm at. I'm not going to stray from it. I don't think they're going to be this world-breaking team. That, like, I feel like everyone's taking 45 wins, or at least the general consensus of like, oh my God, they're terrible. Is like 45 wins. They're going to be incredible. That's like a 6 seed. Like, I still believe that this team can figure it out. And I think the making open shots is going to fix a lot of the problems, and that was a big problem against the Jazz. And think about the games they've lost. Right? They lost to. Problem. I know, but I believe in the fact that it's going to turn around eventually because these guys have shown throughout the course of their career that they've been good 3-point shooters. Think about the games they've lost, though, because of the shooting, right? Sixers, this game, the Rockets, and what game am I missing? Sixers this game, Rockets. What are the two games? Knicks and
Knicks, Pistons.
Pistons couldn't grab an offensive rebound. Have done a lot better job at that sense, right? They have been a significantly better rebounding team since that Pistons game. Knicks game, disaster quarter, which has been a trend too. They've had a bunch of disaster quarters. Sixers game on opening night was a 1-point game. This was a 1-point game. They've lost one possession game, excuse me. They've lost 2 1-possession games, one disaster quarter game where they won every other of the 3 quarters, a Pistons game where they have since figured out that rebounding issue, and then the Rockets game was just those games are going to happen throughout the course of the season. I still don't think this team is going to be this world-beating top 3, top 4 seed. Like they're going to have like ridiculous growing pains, like you saw tonight. But I don't think I don't think that I'm going to ring the disaster bells yet. But that said, this was the first game that I watched where I was like, okay, this is like a genuinely concerning offensive look for them. And we'll see if that fixes. Like, it's just something I'm going to like this is an example game for me. I'm going to put this in my fucking checklist of, okay, this is bad.
We have talked ourselves into a fucking circle. This is what it will do to you when your team doesn't just go out there and kick ass every day, I guess.
Lowest of teams who have shot over 50 threes in a game, this was the lowest 3-point percentage ever in a single game with 50.
And they lost by 2!
And they lost by 2. So, I don't know, man.
Damn it!
And they had the refs blow one of the worst blown calls I've ever seen. Genuinely. Like, it's not even like, oh my God, I'm so angry at that. It's more of like I genuinely would like to have a conversation. Like, how did you not call it? Like, they told Jaylen they didn't see it. What do you mean? What do you mean you didn't see it? It was in the middle of the court. I don't know. That's all I got. That's all I got.
I apologize to the listeners. I just feel like I was Tony Snell in this episode. I just feel like I was in a pretzel. I had nothing smart to say. I'm sorry. This is just all like natural, emotional, like somewhat logical. Like I can't believe like I feel a little bit more justified knowing that was the worst ever shooting performance by a team that took 53s.
And they lost by
that
2.
makes me feel a little bit better about all of this. That just feels like what the whole season has been so far. It's like, shit, if you just shoot like average from 3, like give me 34% from 3, you are probably 6-2.
Or if Kata boxes out at the end of the game, or if Jaylen Brown gets that tripping call, or if like they shot the worst ever for a 53-point attempt team, and they still had every opportunity to win the game at the end. And it's frustrating, but I don't know. We're just going to have to feel it out, see what happens, and go from there. But you got anything else?
No, we can toss to the rest of the show. I apologize. Right. I've just been rambling.
We'll go to the rest. All right, we're back. Hopefully that went better than the Rockets game, but we will continue on forward here with the email. A reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That is hbtcpod@gmail.com. We check them every single full show when we have time to do the full show. We do have one today, and we have plenty of emails to go over. So let's jump on into it. First one we have is a Q&A from Philip. Let me share my screen so y'all can see what I'm looking at. Philip says, Q&A. Fellas, let's do some rapid fire Q&A. Okay, we'll do rapid fire answering. I'll read it. Sam, you answer your answer, and then I'll answer mine, okay?
Okay.
Do you think Brad and his front office were smart enough to see the situation coming with rebounding killing them? Sam?
Yeah, I think they're not stupid. I think the front office is well put together and has smart people in there. And I honestly just don't think there were that many great solutions to fix this. Like they had to cut costs. They probably wanted to make the best moves possible for the financials. And then any player that came around in that was bonus. Like I think Minot is a good solution to this. It might have been part of the reason why they brought him in. You know, they know so much more than we do. And, you know, just to further answer this question and some of the other front office stuff on this, not to ramble. But I remember at Media Day, Brad talking about like how far in advance they look at like different free agents and things of that matter. And like, that's just really eye-opening perspective because we work so much in the present as the media that we don't even think like that. So that is the first answer.
Yes, I do think they probably had some idea that 3-betting was going to hurt them, but like Sam said, they didn't really have any great options available. Next one. If you said, or do you think Brad and his front office are smart enough to have possibly made moves to keep Cornette the most retainable of the lost centers if they wanted to? Sam?
Well, I guess to answer your question is no, because they did want to keep him, at least from what publicly was said, and they didn't make the moves to keep him. And the funny thing about this is I forget what the move I was referencing was. It might have been waiving JD Davison. It might have been the Niang trade, or it might have just been looking at Cornette play really well for the Spurs in the preseason. And I kind of realized, I was like, to be honest with you, like they could have kept him and still avoided the second apron and paid him what he's getting paid. And that's the part that stings. But he walked before Georges Niang was off the roster and was traded for essentially nothing. And that was an extra $8 million in cap space. And then, of course, Minot and Luka Garza got signed, who have both been solid for the minimum. Like, Luka Garza is definitely not Luke Cornette, but at the same time, he's been fine for what they're paying him and what they're asking him to do. So I don't think we can get too upset at that. But I guess, yeah, the answer is actually no, because they didn't do it.
Yeah, I think if they really, really had the opportunity to, they would have, but I just think it was a little too difficult based on the financial directions they wanted to go in, unfortunately. You said yes to both. Why did they let Luke go? Money. Yeah, it's just, I think it's just money, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the financials were the entire motivator this offseason, especially knowing that the level of competitiveness was not going to be the same without Jason Tatum. Even though they're still competitive, they're not upper echelon competitive, as we were very well reminded on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Next one is the answer possibly an intentional effort to pull a Tim Duncan in the draft? Maybe, but I think they understand that. I don't know. What do you think? Go ahead. I don't think that's their goal.
So this is funny because Brad Stevens, I think, is a rare example of a coach moved on to front officeman. And Brad Stevens, when he joined the Celtics, was a part of he was the coach of the only Celtic team in the last 16, 17 years that hasn't made the playoffs. And the roster was set up for that. The next year, I think the plan was, internally, and if you had plucked us from 2025 and put us in 2014, 2015, especially after they trade Rondo, we'd be like, okay, like, got to tank again, got to get another top prospect. It was like Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Jahlil Okafor, Porzingis were the top 4 picks in that draft. I'm trying to think of any. I think Booker was in that draft too. Like, there's some good players in there. Maybe it was the Jokic draft too. Not that anybody would have ever known that, but we would have been like, need to tank, need to get worse, so on, so on, so on. They make the playoffs. Brad is the coach of that team. Brad notoriously becomes known for overachieving as a head coach. So I don't think, as somebody who's transitioned out of that role and into the front office, that is a mindset he would like to put into like the people throughout the organization.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to tank intentionally. I think it's just, this is the roster that has come to them, and we'll see what happens. And I don't know. I just, if it happens, it happens. I don't think they're against like bottoming out if the season comes to it, but I think they were always going to give this team a chance. I know Joe and all the players will do anything to win and have no restrictions, but were they ever set up to do that? Is the real goal related to finances and a cost-controlled lottery pick? I know Joe and the players. I don't really understand the question. Is this just?
I think this is a rhetorical question, kind of
again?
looping everything into the thing, the one major thought. And like, it's really hard to step back from this, especially like considering how I answered your first question, where Brad Stevens was talking about how they look so far in advance in the front office and they're scouting guys that are going to be free agents in a couple seasons, and like all of those different future things they're taking care of. It does make a lot of sense that they would be like, getting a top prospect for an affordable 4-year contract would be very helpful towards this team avoiding the second apron penalties, and just being overspenders in general. If it takes 1 year of sacrifice that was kind of chalked anyway, it's not the biggest price to pay for that. But at the same time, like, I think, I don't know. I remain just split on this. I did a whole like solo video yesterday, just me like talking about both sides and not really know what angle to take. I still feel that way. And I hate that I don't have a definitive feeling. It depends on whatever the last game was.
I think it's just they have a very mid roster. They were never going to, you know, maybe the front office part of them was like, okay, we're not going to, go all in on, we're not going to spend on a team that we know is probably not going to be super competitive. And so I think inherently there's going to be they're not going to be very good, but I don't think they were ever going to say Joe lose games on purpose, because I don't think Joe would ever lose games on purpose. So I think it's just, this is what it is. Phil says, I don't know. The Godfather moves in mysterious ways. Best Phil. Unfortunately, I think this is just like way simpler than everyone's making it out to be. They had to cut costs. The team was going to be mid, but they were never going to trade, Jaylen or Derrick, so they could ever really tank. That's just the state. It's just like an unfortunate season, and that happens when your best player tears his Achilles. I don't think it's any more complicated than that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it kind of is what it is.
And just to final answer on the Luke thing, like final thought is, I think there's a layer to this where the ability to compete plays into the whole Luke situation too on his end, because this wasn't just like the Celtics didn't trade him; he left, so they could have offered him the same offer, and he could have still joined the Spurs. Being from Texas, like being closer to home might mean something to him, especially he's got a family, and he may just want to be on a competitive team. Like you heard it with Horford. Horford was like, yeah, once that happened, it kind of changed everything. So it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is what it is. Thank you, Phil. Philip, next email from him as well. What the fuck stat of the day? Tim Legler dropped a stupid stat. 27 of the teams in the NBA this season averaged more fouls than the league leader last year. What the fuck? Because if this is a snapback to protecting offense at all costs after last postseason medieval melee, I'm pissed. I really think the Celtics lost because the Orlando series was a slugfest, and immediately after New York copied them. That Celtics team was mostly a finesse team, and afterwards Brad even made a comment about maybe adding linebackers to the team. Well, fast forward, and Brad did. Garza, Minot, Boucher, Gonzalez are all good fits for the style of play we say in the playoffs, where you run around, hip check and hold. Now it's snapping back to the James Harden era of foul calls. Pulls hair out. Some transparency from the league, and either gambling or refereeing would be nice. Best Phil. I mean, I would need to look more into this, but Joe's talked about this before. I think, at least with the Celtics and their fouling, it's because they're being more aggressive on defense. Like their forced turnover numbers are also way up. And so inherently, when you go for more gambles and turnovers, there's going to be more fouls. And I mean, if you look at last season, I'm pretty sure the Thunder were like close to the top of the league in personal fouls, but they were also like one of the best defenses in the NBA. And so, yeah, the Thunder had 19.9 fouls per game, but they also forced like a bunch of turnovers per game. And so I think if anything, it is less they're protecting offense again, and more people are trying to copy the Thunder because it just worked really well. So that would be my guess.
Yeah, it's like they can't call everything, I think, is the mindset a lot of teams are taking with them. Like that's something the Thunder played with last year, and they did get called for the most fouls, as Jack said, but it didn't matter. Like they reaped the rewards of being aggressive, and it really worked for them, and they fueled their offense by that. Like if you watch the Thunder last year, they would rip off the fastest runs you've ever seen, blink of an eye, they're up 20 points, because they would turn the other team over. It happened to Boston when they played them a couple times, and they would just run on you. And then before you know it, you're just underneath a pile of steals, turnovers, blocks, like whatever it is, and you're frustrated because you feel like you're getting fouled, and that plays into it too. And Jack's right. I think the NBA is just a copycat league sometimes, and a lot of other teams will try and do this. And, in fairness, I think it's made the Celtics a lot of fun to watch. But when you run into a crew like Saturday's crew against the Rockets, and you have no choice but to play physical because you are smaller than them, significantly smaller than them, it doesn't work as well. Your physicality doesn't make as much of an impact because Alperen Şengün is still going to go right through you. So is Steven Adams.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant's been around the block long enough to deal with it. Like, doesn't always work.
Yeah, last year, how many teams? Let's see. Last year, 12 teams forced 15 or more turnovers a game. This year so far, it's 18. If you look at 13 and up if you look at 14 and up, last year was 22. This year, it's like turnovers are just up throughout the year. It was 22 last year, and this year it's only 17 last year. Turnovers forced are up, and I think fouls are up as well. So I think last year teams were trying to copy the Celtics defense of, we're not going to foul a lot, we're going to keep teams off the free throw line. This year teams are copying the new champs, which is, we're going to foul a fuck ton, we're going to force a lot of turnovers. So I feel like that's mostly what's going into it, or at least for Boston's sake. RJ says, being better makes everything winning. Evening, folks. Wednesday night, and the Celtics once again surrendered Al Horford Memorial 42-point quarter. But the funny thing was, scored 40 of their own on their way to beating Cavs by 20. it's fun to watch a team win, but it's even more fun to watch a team figure out how they can win. And the Celtics are finding a lot of ways, keeping pace on three-pointers, check, including Sam Hauser racking up 21 points and 7 threes, check, going off on a 10-0 run to close the half, check, Pritchard misfiring on threes, so he just set 10 assists, check, how about Kata and Minot grabbing 27 rebounds, got that one covered too. Luka Garza running a 10-5 and 2 line with 2 stocks in 16 minutes, sure. Almost forgot JB had another 30-point run, including hitting his own Donovan Mitchell buzzer beater 3 at the half. Don't look now, but these Celtics are learning how to win, and that's with Derrick and Pritchard shooting an abysmal 4 for 20 from distance. Small sample size, Cavs are depleted. Mitchell was nursing a hamstring. It's still a win for the team they beat out. That beat them out last year. Celtics are different and fun and winning. Enjoy it. Be well, RJ. This was after the Cavs game, obviously. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is like a good reminder of like the positives that we've seen them kind of step into. The biggest one to me has just been Pritchard. Like Pritchard's been so impressive despite being horrible from the 3-point line. He's doing so many different things that we haven't really seen him have the opportunity to do in the NBA. And if his 3-point shot comes along, like we're all going to be talking about, whoa, watch out for Pritchard. So really good observations. The ones in here that feel like the most controlled are the Pritchard just making good decisions, Nemi and Minot battling. Like that's something they're going to need to do to win. Sam Hauser just going off is like hit or miss. Like not to say he's not a great shooter, but it just depends on the night. You can't always depend on that. Can't depend on the threes going in this season. They haven't been a very good 3-point shooting team at all. Luka Garza is sneaky been reliable though.
He has been for sure. And Hauser's still shooting 45% from 3 this season.
He's very good, but like be like he's gonna have to go scorched earth for them to win is not the game plan you want to have to like expect.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, RJ. Next one, Jacob Lindholm says future center for the C's. Hey, y'all, I know it's early because their center depth is basically non-existent, especially if Nemi goes down. It got me wondering if there's anyone in college they could start to scout and feel is a good fit. Player 1 is Nate Biddle, 7 foot 220-pound center from Oregon. He's the highest rated center on ESPN's prospect list. While he's a senior, some teams may back, and that may force teams might not like him due to age. Although he's only 22, that could be in the Celtics' favor if you would want somebody who could hit the ground running. He's averaging 14, 8, and 2 blocks. Though he's averaged down overall. He's shooting 33 from beyond the arc. Robbie Avila, Jesus Christ, I don't know if this guy's the guy. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that's listed on his ESPN page. I'm not that creative. 6'10", 240 pounds, St. Louis senior. Also played at Indy State, so there's some Boston connection already. Averaging 17, 7 and 4, shot 35 from deep. Think he'd be a great fit. His passing is for real. Would love to hear y'all's thoughts on where it's early. Something I thought I could ask. I haven't looked at any college so far. I would need to look into
college starting today.
Yeah, I haven't looked into anything yet, unfortunately. But we can keep these names down.
Yeah, that's a good idea. For what it's worth, the Celtics appear to have 3 second-round picks, at least one. There's like a lot of like stipulations to these picks, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have multiple picks in the second round. So this could be a good spot for them to look into one of these guys, especially considering age being like a big draft hold up for a lot of NBA teams. Robbie Avila is just the guy that looks like my friend Ray. So I don't know. I don't know if he's got the NBA athleticism, but he does do a lot of creative things, and there's a reason why people know who he is. It's just I don't know how well it's going to translate to the NBA, but there have been plenty of guys you could say that for that have worked out quite well.
Yeah. But we'll keep an eye. Thank you, Jacob. Jacob again. Oh, is this just same email set twice back. And RJ says winning makes everything pretty, but in Philly it was more like closing time pretty with beer goggles doing some heavy lifting. Evening, folks. Drink hearty from the NBA Cup. The Celtics are back to 500. Brown, Pritchard, and Simons cover the scoring early. Props to Peyton for getting his points in the paint even as his threes were missing, but then everyone helped to hang on. Ugo forcing turnovers, Tillman's 3, Garza scoring. In their combined 41 minutes, they were 19 of 144 on 8 of 14 shooting. I don't know what 19 of 144 means. 1 3 of 6 from threes with 2 steals, no turnovers. They still got outscored 10-1 in the final 3 minutes. Thank you for the free throw, JP. Take a deep breath, everyone. Scary season just starting. Be well, RJ, who never had any doubt. Yeah, right. They won. That's all I've got from Philly.
Escaped with a win. Ugo looked like beating up Spider-Man after just getting the shit kicked out of him all game. Really fun win, though. And seems like Philly might be decent, too. So low-key a little impressive.
Yeah, they look good. Last email from RJ again on the topic of Derrick White. No, I'm not picking on him. Just some observations. Happy time change Sunday as I write this. Last year, he and Pritchard teamed up for 84 points in a single game, each eclipsing 40. Tatum was out that game alongside Porzingis and Drew, so it's kind of like this year, right? At least hitting for 20 a night should be feasible. Well, C's did suit up and start Allen Luke, so no. Also, last year, Derrick had one other game where he cracked 30 points and only 15 where he scored in the 20s. By comparison, he had 9 games where he scored 9 or fewer points in his 50 of his 76 games. He was teens wolf, putting 10 to 19 up. In the first 7 games this year, he's scoring the same distribution. 1 single-digit game, thanks, Ime. 5 in the 10 to 19, and 1 20-pointer. If you play 76 games this year, he winds with 11 low-scoring games, 11 20-point games, and 54 where he scores in the teens. Translation, Derrick's shooting looks like crap, but his scoring contribution is not out of line with what he did with everyone back. JT, KP, Drew, Al on the court, which means he's doing more just to stand still. In the first 7 games, I'll take it. Be well, RJ, who reminds people that context matters. I understand that it's looked similar, but it hasn't been the same. It doesn't like. It's one thing to do this on efficient scoring. It's another to do it on the way he's been scoring this season. And I don't want to keep picking on Derrick because I do think he'll turn it around, but I don't think this is a necessarily fair comparison because I think he's been not as effective this year.
Yeah, to average a 1.5 less on 4 more shots per game, not good. Plain simple, not good. Not good when a lot of the shots are shots you were making last year. And I guess it makes it better that they're shots we know he can make. Like, it's not like a lot of the inefficiencies are coming because he's being asked to do things that he's not used to. I don't think he's been very good at any of those things at all, but he's taking a few dumb shots a game, but more or less, like, it's just like, man, he might be set up to score into the 20s more frequently here once he finally remembers how to shoot the ball.
Yeah, it's just the inefficiency that's been doing it for me. But thank you all for the emails. We appreciate it very much. We can now move on to the NBA section. Check out the standings here with y'all. We are about 7 to 8 games, depending on the team, into the season. So we can see how the standings are shaping up around the league. It's still early, but we can get a feel for it. Philly and Chicago, 5-1 atop the standings. Milwaukee and Detroit are 4-2. You got the Cavs at 4-3. You got a bunch of 3-3 and 3-4 teams chunked up in the middle there, and then you've got the Pacers, Wizards, and winless Nets and Wizards at the bottom, I should say. So that's what the East looks like.
I hate this to be my first thing that I say on this because there are a lot of fun teams to talk about. The Nets, Pistons watch. They're on Pistons watch, officially on Pistons watch. 0-6 to start the season. They have been just dreadful in comparison to everybody else in the NBA. Like, they've been a laughing stock. They can't compete. Their roster is very weak. Like,
there's someone out west who is contending with worse than them, but we'll get to that.
We have ourselves an ass off, it seems. But in the Eastern Conference, considering how embarrassing the Eastern Conference is and how like weak a lot of the middle teams are, it's a little wild to just be, oh yeah, I guess we're just going to be 0-6 forever. Not to say you don't play teams that are in the other conference too, but Brooklyn, as Jack mentions, is second worst in net rating at minus 15.7. The other team is minus 17.4. So we might be right. There may be a real ass off in the NBA, but them being 0-6, I've heard really, really bad things about them. I haven't really gotten to watch them yet, which kind of looking forward to that whenever they get to play the Celtics. But yeah, everyone and their mother thought Chicago and Philly would be 1-2, 5-1 through 6 games. Josh Giddey's been really, really good. Like, it's insane. It's easy to look at the Bulls and just be like, they're one of these teams that just starts hot and everyone has to talk about them because it's early in the season and they're atop the standings. But Josh Giddey has been legitimately good on his new deal. And he seems like the type of player that might be able to elevate his teammates a little bit. And that could be a major reason for them being where they're at so far.
Yeah, he's averaging 22.2 points, 9.3 rebounds, and 8.7 assists on 49-41 splits. He's been really fucking good. That's really all there is to it. Excuse me. He's been incredible. You look at some of the other guys in Chicago, what they're averaging. Like, Vucevic is averaging 19 and 12. Excuse me. Tasumu's averaging 16, 3 and 3 on 57-47 splits. Uzelis is averaging 16 on 49, 41 splits. Herter is shooting, not great, but he's been efficient from 2. And so he's averaging 13 points. Trey Jones is averaging 12 and 6. Patrick Williams is having an efficient season from deep, which is crazy. Like they're just getting good contributions up and down the roster from a lot of those guys, and Kobe White's not even healthy yet. So good for them. They're playing winning basketball. The Bucks are good. I've seen a lot of stuff talked about, like people kind of discounted the fact that they just really added a bunch of shooting around Giannis this season. Like Ryan Rollins is shooting 40% from 3. Gary Trent's shooting 38% from 3. AJ Green shooting 51% from 3. Bobby Portis 42%. Kevin Porter 66% in the one game he played. Miles Turner's at 34% in plus his defense. Torian Prince is at 53%. Like they just have really good 3-point shooters around Giannis. And while the talent level might not be there, they're all good at that one thing. And that certainly helps a 34-point, 13 rebounds, 7 assists per game Giannis, who is just a monster. The one set I did see that I wrote about today for like a freelance article, their defense with Miles Turner on the court is like top 10. Their defense without Miles Turner on the court is only better than the Nets and the Pelicans. So they kind of need him on the court. But I'm in on the Bucks. The team that I've been the most intrigued with, mostly because I got the chance to watch a little bit of their game last night. Bro, the Heat are so cool. The way they play is so sick. They have the best point differential in the Eastern Conference at plus 7.8 so far this season. And they are like, it is sprinting. There was one play where the Lakers made a basket. Jaime Jaquez sprinted all the way down the floor and just got an and one at like the 22-second mark on the shot clock. Like they're just running. They are not running pick and rolls at all. They're swinging the ball, cutting off the ball, beating guys off the dribble and kicking. It is a weird offense. And then they're just playing this ridiculously fast defense at times too, with Bam and Davion Mitchell and people being annoying. So they're super fun to watch. Like that, I think that team's going to be a lot better than I think most people expected, including me.
Yeah, Miami is 5th in net rating, and they play at the highest pace in the NBA according to NBA stats. They're going to have to get creative because their roster is not that impressive. Like the Lakers did take care of them yesterday. I know like you got to watch the game. I watched some of it too. I had it on like in the background as I was doing other things. And for a lot of the game, the Lakers were comfortably ahead. It was like 15 points before half, doing my thing, look over. Wait, what? It's a 4-point game going into the fourth quarter. It was like 102-98. And then they kind of fell apart again towards the end of the game and LA pulled away. But yeah, I think like if you're a team like Miami this year in the Eastern Conference, you can feel good about yourself. And just to go back to Milwaukee is the most efficient team in the NBA right now. They're shooting 63.4 true shooting. They play relatively fast. Their assist to turnover ratio is top 10, 9th in the league, 1.92. Celtics 6th. Don't worry about it, 1.93. Yeah, I think it was very easy to overlook Milwaukee just because they had a weird summer, but Giannis is really good. Jack agenda thrives. W Jack.
Yeah. I'm into the Bucks.
Also, Atlanta, who is one of my darling teams, might be up the creek without the paddle, just because I don't have this on the sheet. Trae Young out for at least a month with an MCL sprain. You think they're going to be better without Trae Young? You think like he's still that much of a negative impact?
Yes. I just think they're going to be able to play a much different brand of basketball with Dyson Daniels running the point guard.
Is there anybody?
I have a bad feeling it's going to look really good.
Are there any small guards in the NBA now that you can feel great about? Like he was supposed to be this guy coming out of the draft. Yeah, beyond Steph, like there's really not many. Like it's a dying breed. How tall is Maxey? Isn't Maxey like 6'4", 6'5"?
No, he's 6'2", and he's not really 6'2". He's tiny.
He's like
Maxey's, yeah. Maxey, Steph, Davion Mitchell's actually having a really good season. Brunson, I feel like there are just good small guards. It's just
Brunson was a really bad one for me to overlook. That's on me.
Yeah, Brunson's good. I mean, Pritchard, if you really want to go to Pritchard, we can go look at the West too. Western Conference, Thunder up top, 7-0 still, just nasty. Spurs still hanging in there. Lakers are playing well too. Portland's up there, and then you get through the middle chunk of 500-ish teams, all the way to the bottom where the Pelicans are 0-6 with a minus 18.1 point differential, which is really bad.
Well, the good thing is that they have their own pick, and they're playing rookie Derrick Queen a very healthy amount of minutes, which neither of those is true. Derrick Queen, who they traded their first-round pick this season for in the draft, and they just are not playing him. I saw Keith Smith tweet about it today, and he literally was like, I feel bad. Like, I don't want to pile on, but this is crazy. If you have Keith Smith, like, feeling bad for you and still being willing to, like, hit you, like, really bad fuck up. And, like, by the way, that was one of Joe Dumars' first moves after taking the job in New Orleans. Like, honestly, is that the only time you can do that move and not get fired? Like, right after they hire you, they can't fire you right away. You have
Queen is playing 17.5 minutes a game, shooting 44% from the field while not taking threes. I don't hate Derrick Queen as a player. Don't get me wrong. Derrick Queen's a cool player. It just didn't make any sense for this Pelicans team, and like they're not giving him the chance to play a ton. This team stinks. They're really bad. They're not going to be good, and they don't have their pick, and the Hawks are going to get their pick. And if I'm the Hawks, I take that pick. I take Debonsa or Boozer or, one of the people if you win the lottery up there. I trade Trae Young, and I move forward with that guy and your current core, and I'm happy about it. But we'll see what happens. And even if the Hawks are bad, you know what happens if the Hawks are bad this year, Sam? You know who gets their pick?
Don't
the Spurs. I'm sorry. It's the Spurs.
Gosh. I should have known
that. It's the Spurs. The Spurs get their pick if they're bad, which is just going to be ridiculous. But yeah, this is what the Western Conference looks like. Pelicans are completely ass. The Lakers, Reeves and Luka and Smart and Laravia and Ayton look really fucking good. The Spurs look really fucking good. Nuggets and the Rockets have crazy point differentials. It's a stacked Western Conference for sure. It's going to be scary.
I'm so excited to talk about this. The Lakers have played fucking no one. They've played no one. They played the Warriors and lost. One of the one good teams they played, they lost. They beat the Timberwolves. I think Ant got hurt in that game. They beat the Kings, who suck. Lost to the Trailblazers. Beat the Antless Timberwolves by an Austin Reeves buzzer beater. They beat the Grizzlies in the NBA Cup, who are just in a turmoil right now. And then they beat Miami, who's mid. So they've played no one. And I'm so happy that I can come on here and be like, this is the fakest 5-2. Now, it would be a lot more fun if I could say it was the fakest 5-2 if LeBron was playing, but LeBron's going to come back. And to be honest with you, there's no guarantee LeBron comes back and it like goes swimmingly too. Like we may have reached a point where he can come in and actually be disruptive, which I'll love to watch if it's true. But yeah, how about the Spurs having their undefeated season ended by the Phoenix Suns, who held Wemby to 9 points? Wemby, who has just been destroying worlds, and he goes to Phoenix, or he plays against the Suns, who, by the way, have a bunch of centers that are just on the younger side and not a lot of experience, and he's just 9 points. Nothing for him.
So you're in on the Spurs?
Yeah, I like the Spurs. I think they're a lot of fun. I don't really know if they've played a lot of people yet, which I was going to say, going with this.
I'm about to catch you out if you're. Oh,
they've had.
I'm going to give you bullshit.
I think I actually said this last time we did the show. It was like they played like Toronto, Washington, Brooklyn. Like they played all the ass teams.
Yeah.
But Wemby's been really good. And I think, not to say that the Lakers don't have somebody in Luka and LeBron coming back, but like Wemby's like a freak. And it feels like this is the year for San Antonio. And it feels like the supporting cast in San Antonio is better than what's out in LA.
I'm not saying I don't think the Spurs will be better than the Lakers. I do think they have a better chance. I'm just saying I think the Lakers have been really good regardless of their opponent too. Reeves is averaging 31, 5 and 9.5 on 49, 34 splits. Luka's averaging 40, 11 and 8. Right. Rui Hachimura is shooting 45% from three. DeAndre Ayton's having an effective season. Jake Laravia looks great. Marcus Smart's playing good basketball. I just think the Lakers have a lot better team than people expected. I think based on this small sample size, it looks like they've hit really well on all three additions they made this summer. So I think they're playing well. The Spurs have played Dallas, New Orleans, Brooklyn, Toronto, Miami, Phoenix. That might be the easiest schedule of the NBA. The New Orleans took them to overtime. Like I like the Spurs. I think they're really, really good as well. And I think they're going to be a high level playoff team. But if we're going to do the who have they played game, we got to be fair. But I'll be fair. Those teams are really good. I think both of those teams are going to be really good this season. I think they'll both be playoff teams.
Thankfully,
I don't know. Yeah.
We only have to wait, as you're listening to this, till tomorrow. John Cena, The Rock, Spurs, Lakers. Never before, never again.
Yeah, big game. Big game. Yeah, Spurs got a tough schedule coming up. They got LA, Houston, and then obviously they have New Orleans, but then Chicago, Golden State. With Chicago, the way they've been playing, it's a pretty good schedule. That's a pretty big slate of teams coming up. As for the Lakers, they've got Portland, San Antonio, Atlanta, Charlotte, OKC, which outside of Charlotte, not a terrible thing. Not a terrible schedule, but yeah, that's what the standings are looking like. And we can rat list. Sam, what you got?
We'll do a quick Ja Morant rat list. He can definitely go on the rat list.
I forgot about Ja Morant.
That's okay. He fits in this. I almost just put him on the rat list anyways. He has been not great in Memphis this year, and there's a lot of turmoil going on in Memphis. And it seems like he's like quiet quitting or loud quitting on the Grizzlies. He was suspended for 1 game for contact detrimental to the team after he was called out on national TV for said Lakers game by Blake Griffin for literally just kind of quitting on the team mid-game. And like he took like 1 shot in the 4th quarter, something like that, after having a pretty good first half. Just doesn't seem to be getting along with the new coaching staff and clearly isn't helping the team.
Did you see his comments post-game? Like
I did not.
So after the game, Ja and I'm so sorry, I don't know, Tuomo Sisolo, like I forget I don't know how to say his name. That's on me. But head coach had their press conferences at the exact same time, and so like nobody paid attention to the coach's press conference. They went to Ja, and they basically asked him like, what went wrong out there? What happened? He goes, I don't know. Ask the coaching staff. And then he said like, what do you think they would say? And he said he said they probably would say they played me too much. Like it was really bad. And it just seems like he is checked out. I think that's why he got suspended. He got suspended for those fucking comments. And I don't know what goes on now with Ja Morant. I mean, you almost have to trade him at some point because, like, what the fuck? Like, what? I don't know, man. It's not like they're good enough to be like, all right, we'll push through and still be a competitive team. They're kind of bad. So
they have their pick.
Let me look.
I think they do.
I assume they do. I don't think they would have traded it. I think they just added picks from the Magic. I don't think they traded their own. The Grizzlies this season do have their pick. First round pick, least favorable. Oh no, maybe they don't. Hold on. I can't tell.
They never make it. They never make it easy to find out whose pick it is. Like when I looked up the Celtics 2nd round picks earlier in the show, I had the same, like, I felt like I had to go in a microscope and break down the different elements of DNA to figure out what draft pick the Celtics would have, which ones they don't.
I don't know.
Okay. It's a mystery.
It is their pick, traded 2026 first round pick, least. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know who has
it. Sounds like they might have the lesser of a pick swap.
But I don't know. I have no idea. I think they have their pick, but I couldn't tell you. I think they have their pick.
Well, bad start to the season regardless. Not good to have your star cornerstone guy clearly miserable. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's itching to trade for him. Like, this is kind of the same Trae Young scenario. It's not the same exact thing, but it's a similar guy, like tiny frame, could be a defensive liability in a playoff series. Not to say he doesn't have the athleticism to kind of make up for it a little bit, but isn't a world-class defender by any means. It becomes difficult to get off that. He's already passed his rookie scale deal, so he's now on an extension, making more money. Like, things get more complicated with that. But if you're a Grizzlies fan, 3-4 is not the start you were looking for, and this is certainly not the kind of development you want from Ja.
Not a good start. Not a good start for the Grizzlies. Not a good start for Ja Morant.
Who, by the way, hasn't been playing very well.
No, he's averaging 21, 3, and 7, but shooting 41 from the field and 16% from 3. So
Derrick White
certainly not great. I don't really know what other outlets I have. I'm trying to think of what annoying stuff has happened. I went to IKEA yesterday, which I didn't mind doing. Like, running errands is fine, but the amount of people who just don't know how to walk when you get into stores pisses me off. Like, we're just like, oh, I want to look at this thing, and I get it. It's a store. You're allowed to look at stuff. Leave the fucking aisle if you're gonna look at something. Don't stand in the middle with your cart and your 3 kids running around like assholes and block off the way for everybody else. Get the fuck out of my way. Like, move. So that pissed me off.
The carts are a massive issue in this.
They gotta move,
especially like the supermarket.
Move.
Like,
yeah,
the supermarket. I have a supermarket right next door to where I'm at, and it is a zoo. Just people every which way, up and down the aisles with their carts. People. First and foremost, you should not be allowed to let your kid push the cart. I know, like when you're a kid, like it's fun to feel like you're contributing. People's kids just pushing the cart down the middle of the aisles. Like it truly is a dumpster fire to go shopping. And like for some reason, the carts are all over the place in the parking lot here. Like they're just always in parking spaces. If I go over there, I'm always like pump faked into thinking I have a parking space, and then I do not because there's a shopping cart right in the middle of it. It is a free for all. So completely agree with that. Going to the store can be tough. Rat list is Secret Santa. So I am supposed to meet some of my girlfriend's extended family for the first time this holiday season. A true moment of magic. And yesterday it was made known to me. She says, "Hey, my family wants me to send you the link to sign up for our Secret Santa." And then I said, "Why? I'm meeting some of these people for the first time. What am I supposed to do if I draw one of their names in Secret Santa?" And I know like the obvious answer is just ask Kaylin what to get.
Yeah.
Like just ask. But like they don't know me. I don't know them. I don't
but like
it is thoughtful, but not thoughtful enough. It's thoughtful
if you're gonna be
me.
there. But if you're going to be there, you have to do it. No. I'm not on your side on this one. If you're going to be there and everyone is doing a Secret Santa, just do it and figure it out.
I can cheer everyone on.
You just got to do it. No,
I'm also not like a big Christmas gift getting guy. I don't care. If it was up to me, we wouldn't even do gifts.
Yeah, but this is one of those where you got to put your own feelings aside.
I'm gonna just nuke myself now. And this is now not relative to the Secret Santa. This is just in general. In most cases, I do not even think we should do gifts. Instead, we should just all treat ourselves to whatever budget we were going to spend on gifts, because whatever you get back, and I know the point is to make the other person happy, but if you're spending X amount of dollars and you're getting that same value in return, but it's not something that you're going to use, it's just awkward. Like, everyone's gotten a bad gift, and then like you feel weird if you didn't get somebody. I don't know. I think it leads to too many problems.
I've got nothing for you, man. This is one where you just gotta eat it. You just gotta go. You just gotta live with the kindness. I'm
not upset to be going. I just think this is an awkward situation to be in, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this.
It's just Christmas, man. Ratless, my fantasy team, man. Oh my god,
tough day to be a Jaden Daniels manager.
Scattaboo last week and Jaden Daniels this week. I thought I saw the worst injury my fantasy team was getting under when Scattaboo went down, and then Jaden Daniels snaps his arm in half. No, I'm 4 and 5.
No, I just mean in terms of being cursed.
Maybe I'm 4 and listen, like I'm 4 and 5 right now. My team's gonna probably end the season mid. Maybe I'll squeak into the playoffs. I'll probably miss it by a couple games. It is what it is. I traded Quinshon Judkins in 2 seconds for Jaden Daniels, and he's just been hurt ever since. Which I would do the trade again. Like it is what it is. I didn't know what Quinshon Judkins was gonna be, and he's been like pretty good since then. But if I can get a guy like Jaden Daniels for 2 seconds and an unproven running back, I'm gonna do it every time. Especially when I have Genty and Scattaboo, who has since gotten hurt. But still, like it is what it is. It's just the luck I've had since then has been disastrous. And my team's like fine right now. I have Daniel Jones, who's been good this season. I have Ashton Genty, who's been good. I've got Vidal, who's like the backup Chargers. I have Jackson Smith-Njigba, who might be the best wide receiver in the NFL, who's disgusting. I've got Metcalf, Tyler Warren. Like I've got a fine team. It's just 2 of my best players just got fucking their limbs snapped in half 2 weeks in a row. It's just tough, man. It's just tough.
It is this means nothing to you. It is impossible for me to hear about Tyler Warren and just not think about him being an absolute hoss at Penn State. Like
he's still doing it, man.
He had a game last year where they must have thrown him the ball like 30 times. He was like playing running back. He was running the wildcat formation. Like he was doing everything. Tyler Warren.
Shout out to
Final rat
Warren, man.
list remains the lady. She just is always on this list. So I was giving her a ride somewhere today. We were walking to my car. I forgot my wallet. Don't feel like going back for it, whatever. I make it known to her. I'm like, I forgot my wallet. She's like, okay. We're driving no more than like 3 minutes after this back and forth discussion. And she goes, can you step on it a little bit? We're going to hit the light. I said, I'm driving without my wallet. If we get pulled over like that, I'm pretty sure they can just look you up nowadays. But like, you're supposed to have your license on you. Like
You get in trouble.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you get in trouble for that. Like here I am just being like, I might have not had my wallet. Sometimes just the dumbest of the dumb for somebody who's brilliant. It's crazy.
Happens. I mean, I was driving without a license for a long time, and I finally got that fixed. Whoops. I renewed my license like last week, and I got to the place. They go, you've been driving this long without a license. I was like, hey, I don't know, man. Sorry. They're like laughing at me. Tyler Warren, had a 17 reception game against USC last year.
Yes, crazy game.
Ridiculous. That's all I got though. You got anything else?
No, hopefully we have a good game tonight against Utah. Hopefully they can win. Looking forward to it. Good jersey matchup. We'll have to see what Worldwide Wob tweets about it. Hopefully it's the top-rated home whites versus the purple Utahs.
Ooh, that is pretty good.
Home whites back-to-back games this week. I looked on Locker Room because I was doing the pregame thumbnail. Very good day. What a day to be.
But yeah, appreciate you for tuning in. Leave a like, subscribe, and all that same. Take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We are here every single day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps up the morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are there. So if you just want those, follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Big shout out to all of you who emailed today. We appreciate it. Really awesome email segment. Keep them coming. Socials are how about them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.